Hello, welcome to Your Audacious Live right here on Wednesdays with me, Stephanie Young, Audacious Life Success Coach. I am grateful and honored that you're here and you choose to be with me either live or on the replay, where we take just a few minutes out of our week to learn some tips about how we can live our best, most audacious lives and embrace our truest, most audacious selves. Today, I have a question for you. Are you running on empty? Do you feel like you're constantly running on fumes or struggling to find the energy and motivation to pursue like your goals and your dreams? I had a friend and a client yesterday tell me, she was like, Stephanie, I feel like I am constantly on 1%. That like if you looked at my phone and the battery was always on 1%, I feel like that is my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what a perfect description of how so many people feel and how I myself have felt before as well. And it just really stuck with me. And then I thought how timely it was because today I was going to talk about what happens when we feel exhausted and when we just keep running and running on fumes. I was actually going to talk about what happens when your like life check engine light comes on. And so I thought, oh my word, we're just going to like ask a totally different question. Are you running on fumes? And if you are, you're not alone. You are probably like so many people out there where your life battery or your personal battery is just, it's at 1% and you desperately need to be plugged in. If that is you, you can say, oh my gosh, that's me below. Like if you say I like feel like I am on fumes or I'm constantly on fumes, just say like yes, that's me. Like you are again not alone. Like I could totally put in the comments, that's me. Mostly because we are getting ready to do some traveling, and so we've been like running around trying to get everything together. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we have so many things to get done. And so, if you are in a place where you are tired, stressed, burned out, and you're not sure how to like break that cycle, like you are in the right place. Now, I know that when people are in burnout, it is not a quick, super simple, easy fix. Sometimes, oftentimes, recovering from burnout can take many weeks, months, and sometimes even years. So please know that I am not trying to discount anybody that it is in the like trenches of burnout and saying, well, if you just do these quick things, everything will be sunshine and roses. I know that getting out of burnout can be a very long process, but a very healing process. And so please know that you are also not alone in your burnout and that there is help and there is support that can be offered and found for you. And so if you're there, you can always DM me and I'd be happy to chat for extra resources that can be provided for you that are probably above and beyond my skill level. But know that those resources are there. I myself have reached out for those and have found great healing in having support in a season of great and difficult burnout. So know that there are ways to break our cycles of stress, tiredness, and burnout. And it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to constantly live in a series of burnout. I know sometimes life can be really crazy. Our family has experienced some of that craziness. We felt very tired for about 4.5 years after having moved my dad's parents in and doing caretaking because caretaking can be very exhausting work. But at the same time, it was very fulfilling work. And so sometimes burnout can be a long time. But if you are in a place where you feel like your battery is at 1%, and that 1% of battery life is what is keeping you from pursuing your goals and pursuing your dreams and the life that you truly, truly want for yourself, and you feel like, I wish I could have my best life if only I had less stress, if only I wasn't as tired, you're here, you're in the right place, and there are resources available. And while those resources are things that are bigger than a simple live on YouTube or a live on Facebook, I would love to share with you two things that can be helpful for you to get out of some of that stress or to help alleviate some of that stress and to help with some of those feelings of tired. So, if you are ready to recharge your battery and start living your best life, you are again in the right place. And we're going to be having a masterclass very soon to dive into even more resources. So, you could drop masterclass below to get more info and get connected. But today, we are still offering 2 tips about how to help alleviate some stress and tiredness in our lives. So, my number one tip for helping alleviate stress and tiredness in our lives is to go to bed at the same time every single night without your phone. And yes, you could find that information everywhere on the internet, but so many studies show that being tech free at bedtime and having a consistent bedtime, those two hand in hand, can be significantly helpful in having less stress in our lives and being less tired. And so when we commit to ourselves to recharge our batteries, and often recharging our personal batteries means having more restorative sleep, which then lessens our stress, means being a consistent bedtime attender, aka going to bed at the same time. No, your bedtime might be 9 p.m., it could be 12 p.m., or no, that would be 12 a.m. Whatever your bedtime is, but saying, this is my bedtime and I'm going to commit to it, and committing to it without our phone. Now, I will tell you, this has been a struggle for me, mostly because I have fallen in love with the Calm app and love listening to their sleep stories. They have helped me fall asleep consistently night after night. And so for me, the commitment was to turn my sleep story on and then put my phone down and far, far away from me so that I couldn't then reach it and scroll it through my phone while I was listening to a sleep story. But the stories were calming voices, and the slow pace and the gentle music in the background really has helped me lull me to sleep at night when my brain has been like stress, 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 stress. But I've been trying very hard over the last probably year and a half to go to bed between 8 and 9 p.m. so that my body recognizes, oh, it's bedtime, we're going to lay down. And in doing that, I've personally recognized how much less stress I have and how much more recharged I am in the morning when I'm consistently going to bed. And I started doing that when I was reading the book Sleep Smarter. I realized that all of my books are across the room and I cannot remember the author's name. I'm going to Google it real quick while I'm live. But I started reading the book Sleep Smarter, where doctors were studying how you can, one particular doctor, but he did lots of research about how you can get better sleep. And it was the book is Sleep Smarter 21 uh, Essential Strategies to Sleep Your Way to a Better Body and Better Health by Sean Stevenson. So I started reading that book, and he was talking about you can. You can like having the consistent bedtime and what that does for your body and how it helps with like your circadian rhythms and all of those things. It was just amazing what it could do for you and how it helped you. And I was like, all right, well, let's give this a try, because, we schedule bedtimes for your kids and you want it to be consistent, but sometimes we forget as adults that those routines can help us too. And so my number one tip for helping relieve some of the tiredness and some of our stress so that we can recharge our batteries and start to live the life we really truly want, to be able to have our dreams and our goals happen and come to fruition, is to have a consistent bedtime and a tech-free bedtime. Because when we sleep and are recharged, we are more likely to want and to use the energy we have to see and have the best life we want. The second tip that I have for when we are running on empty, when we are completely exhausted, when we just feel like we can't anymore and we really need to recharge, is to reach out to a friend. Find a human that you trust, that you love, that you know, and just say, hey, can we talk? Could we grab coffee? Could we go sit in like the grass and be silent? Anything like that, and maybe it's a couple of people for you, whatever it is, whoever it is, that can be that person that's like, that doesn't take from your battery, but gives to your battery, like that kind of person, where like a quick text, a quick phone call, Marco Polo, voice message on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, whatever it is, where like even just hearing their voice breathes that like breath of fresh air to you. Somebody where you're like, could we like go wander a bookstore? Could we go to the grocery store and do our traditional grocery shopping together? Could we like sit on, like, if you're not in the same state, could we sit on Zoom and like read books simultaneously, but maybe not out loud so we can simply be in each other's presence? But finding a person like, if you're a Friends fan, like our lobster, even if it's not a significant other, but finding somebody that is willing to say, I don't need you to give to me. And I understand that you don't necessarily want to take from me, but we simply want to be with each other. And having that person where you can say, hey, like, I'm just feeling a little tired and run down, and I simply want to be with you and be in presence with you, and have that be part of how you recharge your battery. And that can be, again, you can figure out how you want to do. Maybe you sit and knit together. Maybe you have a cup of tea together. Maybe you do have a conversation together. It can look however you need it to look. It, again, completely up to you. How you recharge your batteries is all yours, and how I recharge mine is all me. And everybody is a little different, but those were some suggestions of how you could be in presence with someone, whether long distance or in person, to recharge your battery. So if you feel like you have just been running on empty and you wish you could have your best life or be living your best life, two fantastic, amazing ways that you can start to reduce stress and start to alleviate the tiredness that you feel are to go to bed on time, tech free. That's my first tip. My second one is to be with another human, be with somebody that fills your life with joy, that brings a smile to your face, that is willing to simply be with you in the mundane, in little things, in the stuff that simply needs to have happen or be happening, or in a little task. Maybe I wouldn't say having a cup of tea is a task necessarily, but in like a little action that brings joy and happiness to you, so that your battery can maybe go from 1% to 20%. And then once you get to 20%, with more rest and more joy being brought into your life, you can get back to 40%, and then 60, and then 80. There may be days where we don't get back to 100, but as we recharge our battery to get closer, we can start to see how having less stress and less tiredness and less burnout can really, truly unlock our personal potential to have our dreams come true, have our goals being accomplished, and having the best, most audacious, wonderful life that we truly want. Friends, if any of these tips, these two delightful tips, were helpful for you, or if they're things that you maybe haven't tried, I would love to know if you are planning to try them or want to try them. If you just drop below, like, yes, I'm going to try this, I would truly love to know. If you would like to get written show notes from today's video so that you could read through what we talked about instead of maybe having to come back and listen, just drop notes below and I will tag you in the show notes once they are ready. Typically, the turnaround time is just a few days. And then, if you would like information on our upcoming masterclass with more hands on information about how to live your best, most audacious life, you can drop masterclass below and we'll get that to you. So you can literally say tips, notes, or masterclass, and any of those three things below will allow me to know if you have been watching either live or on the replay, and if you were finding the tips helpful, wanted to join the masterclass, or wanted our show notes. Again, thank you for joining me, whether you were here live or on the replay. I'm always grateful when you choose to spend about 15 minutes of your Wednesday with me to learn how you can embrace some of your most audacious lives and have your dreams come true. We will see you next week right here at noon Eastern on Wednesday. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic weekend and that you no longer have to live your life at 1% battery. Have a super wonderful day, friends. I will see you next week.